Hey guys, I'm Michael from MRD Shorts, and this is Nate.
So,
Hopefully it's clear enough right now. As I said in videos and stuff like that earlier on, this is going to be live on YouTube after this on Wednesday, I believe it is. So if you're watching then, welcome to the video. If you're watching now, welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be talking about Dark Web, Unfriended Dark Web, which came out on Friday, so July 20th, and yeah, you probably already know that if you're in the stream, but yeah, we went and saw it yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I'm completely losing track of time at this point. But yeah, so we're going to start off with a spoiler-free section, which is going to be like the first few minutes of it. And then we're going to go into a full description of the plot, and you're going to hear all of what happened, and it's going to be great, and we're going to discuss how great it was. Hey, to people in chat. Anyway, alright, so let's go this way. And so, first off, the first thing that I want to mention, the budget on this movie was $1 million, just like the first movie, which is really impressive. I was talking to Nate after we finished the movie about how it's really
like
cheap.
$1 million sounds like a lot, but when you start thinking about like how much you have to pay the actors and everything, and all the CGI and everything that's involved, it's
and they had some good actors in it too. Like I can't remember her name, but she's from Get Out last year.
There's also that guy from Nickelodeon.
Cartoon Network.
The guy with the big forehead.
I think his first name's Connor. Connor
Del Rio.
Here.
Yeah,
Connor Del Rio. Yeah, he was on the TV show not Let It Go, Level Up. I don't know why that popped into my mind. But yeah, Level Up, which I used to watch all the time as a kid. I absolutely loved it. And so yeah, seeing that was kind of just cool, because I don't think he's been in much since then. But yeah, they had some good names in there and everything. And they all, I thought, acted pretty well. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really feel like there were any stupid decisions necessarily. Like, at least for me, like, I can see why people would complain about it. I don't know. Did you see anything that seemed off?
What do you mean?
Like, as far as like just dumb choices throughout the storyline.
No, it all seemed like it was pretty rational.
Yeah. Again, we're still in the spoiler-free section, so I'm going to leave it at the twist was really neat. I thought that it was really well formatted. Like it was constantly keeping a certain pace. Like the first few minutes were slow, but it was really introducing you to the main character of what was his name? Matthias.
Yeah,
Matthias. Yeah,
weird name.
It kind of introduces you to him. And so as far as just stuff that was told in the trailer and everything, Matthias gets this new wait, don't like the shirt you're wearing. Hey Carter, how's it going? Yeah, we're not going to read chat too much, just so you guys know, because like we're posting this as a live video, or like a video and everything afterwards. But yeah, so basically Matthias finds this laptop where he works, and he decides to take it after 3 weeks of it being in Lost and Found, which like kind of messed up, but you know.
If there's a MacBook sitting in a Lost and Found for 3 weeks, and no one's come to claim it, there's something fishy going on. I don't think smartest decision to take it. But
yeah, there's some problem there, but
Carter, stop calling me.
But yeah, it's that's great. But yeah, it goes on from there. He gets in a Skype call with some of his friends, and then the person who owned the laptop starts contacting him. And that's all that I'll leave in as far as
Swear to God, I'm gonna turn my phone off.
But yeah, that's kind of like what lost my train of thought. But that's basically what's told to you in the trailer, and there's a lot more that happens in it, but we'll leave it at that for this part of it. Anyway, so what were your thoughts on like?
Sorry.
I know. But like, what were your thoughts on like how everything, like how it was laid out and like how it was shot and everything?
I mean, I thought it was cool. I don't know a whole lot about like cinematography and everything, so I can't really comment on like how it was shot. But it was cool how there weren't really any cuts or anything in it. It was just all one long sort of event you got to saw play out.
Yeah.
And another thing that was pretty cool was it was all on like a computer screen. So there weren't any like I don't know how to like camera shots.
It
of
limits
white
your
people.
view of
Right. It
what's
was just
going
like
on.
all you could see the whole movie was just like a screen recording of a computer screen. So
Yeah, and we were talking about it after we got out of there. Like that, when it limits that space, it really adds a lot more to the moment. Like you're constantly worried about what's outside of that frame, and it only gives you a piece of the story in some cases that you have to kind of fill in beyond that, and you're having to hear sound effects and stuff like that outside, which there's going to be a big thing in the spoiler part about that fact, because there was a big scene that I really liked involving sound effects off screen. But yeah, so
I don't remember what you're talking about, but
I'll bring it up then. It involves Connor. But yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess let's see, where are we as far as timing? So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I guess switch over to the spoiler part of this now. So we're gonna be talking about like what happens in the movie and everything. So yeah, he's FaceTiming. Madison's FaceTiming you as well, apparently.
I mean, my watch keeps going off, so.
Yeah, Carter again too. Yeah. Okay. Carter, we're ignoring you. But okay, so now as we get into the spoiler portion, so I've got the Wikipedia page up right now so that I can actually get like every point that happens in the movie and everything. So first off, the laptop belonged to someone named Nora C. the Fourth, which it's later revealed.
Freaking hate my friends.
But yeah, it's owned by Nora C. the Fourth, which is later revealed to be Charon. Is that how it's pronounced?
Charon. It's Chaorn.
Yeah, but it's that backwards. It's that backwards, and that's what everyone in this dark web area refers to themselves as. So Matthias starts Skyping with his friends. Oh, well, first off, there's his girlfriend Amaya, and it's buzzing so loud.
Just
yeah, but it's funny though. But anyway, so like basically Amaya is deaf, and so
she's deaf, and she's since she's deaf, she doesn't know how to talk, but she can read Matthias's lips over like video chat and understand what he's saying that way.
For the most part, it's challenging over voice chat because of lag and stuff like that. But basically with what he's trying to do with this new laptop is he's trying to improve the software that he's making for her, called Papaya, which I'm just starting to realize really matches up with the name Amaya. Don't know if that was like on purpose or anything, but yeah, it sounds very similar. It rhymes. That's cool. But yeah, so he's making this software called Papaya, and it really, like, it starts out as just kind of a character development thing, but I found it really neat how it turns into like this big thing is like how they use it later in with putting in the different
yeah. Alright, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's like it turns into a big plot device at the end, but basically he's talking to Amaya, and Amaya's like complaining about why he's making this software and how it's really one-sided in a lot of ways. So they stop talking. They're talking on Facebook chat, and all.
It's one-sided because it helps. It helps Amaya understand what Matthias is saying because he can type words in and it basically translates it into like a sign language sort of video thing for her to see. But Matthias can't tell what Amaya is saying because he doesn't know sign language, which is the only thing she can communicate by.
Yeah. So basically that.
So she thinks that he's not as like committed to their relationship as she is because he's not going to the ASL classes that she signed him up for.
Yeah. So that was kind of like a situation where it introduces the main conflict that's going to, or like, and not the main conflict, but like the minor conflict that's going to interrupt the main conflict. And I thought that was a really good side storyline and everything. But then basically, I almost just said Nora because I'm looking at Nora's Facebook page on here, but no, Amaya hangs up, and so Matthias starts getting messages on Nora's Facebook account, which is still logged in because Nora had the laptop first. And so they're talking about, okay, so let's see. At first they're talking about plane tickets. And like, I didn't catch that the first time.
No, yeah. So what was happening was this Nora person who he took this laptop from, what he was doing was he was luring all these girls in by pretending to be like a really, rich guy on Facebook.
Okay.
And he was offering them free plane tickets to, come out and come see him. And he was promising them all this nice stuff. But it was really just a ploy to, like, kidnap them and everything.
Yeah, because it's in the title.
Because he ran a large human trafficking ring that was,
well, no, it was more of just like a Red Room situation. It seemed like
right,
to me.
but
like he ran the Red Room.
Right, like he kidnapped girls and or his affiliates would kidnap the girls. And what it would be, what was this big, this Red Room or this chat room where people could pay and bid, and the highest bidder would, choose what happens to the girl that they kidnapped.
I kind of understood it as like he was capturing the girls, and then after that he was getting paid by the other Charons. Right. Well,
so, yeah, like, it was basically just this big ring of illegal activity that was going on. And
of course,
he was in charge of it.
At the end, we find out that it's not him who's really the main person, and it's all of them. But anyway, we'll get back to that later. Matthias gets in a Skype call with his friends, which include Damon, who's like this kind of he's really he's good at coding and stuff like that.
Savvy.
Yeah, he's tech savvy. And then there's a conspiracy theorist, AJ, who is played by Connor Del Rio. And he's kind of the comic relief. It's sad to see him go. But anyway, then there's DJ, or Lex is they refer to her as Lex throughout the entire thing.
She was like a music producer or something.
Yeah,
she made her own music.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Nari and Serena, who both are on the same video call.
They were a lesbian couple who just got engaged and everything.
Yeah, which, I mean, that didn't really play into the story. Well, I guess it did, actually. Yeah, it did. Yeah, because of the choice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it did actually play in. But they're playing Cards Against Humanity, and the entire time, I thought that one thing that was very realistic was Matthias would be going away from that chat room or that Skype call and talking to other people individually. And I mean that when you're on Skype, you'll in a group chat or something, you'll like message someone in it or something like that. And so that aspect of it was really realistic, I felt like. So like he started trying to get back in touch with Maya on Facebook, and she just wasn't responding and stuff like that. And so finally he starts getting more messages on Nora's Facebook, and they're from someone, let's see, what was the name? Erica Dunn is the name of the girl who was sending the messages. And so the messages were saying that it wasn't actually Erica, it was a friend of Erica's. And that it wasn't a friend of Erica.
Yeah, well, Nora was the kidnapping person was claiming to be a friend of Erica's using her Facebook account to message his stolen computer. But what it ended up being was, he had kidnapped Erica and he obviously had her belongings and everything, so he was using that to do it that way. Like, he wasn't friends with her.
Yeah, but he's claiming that he's friends when he's talking to Matthias, and so basically Charon, I guess I'll refer to him as Charon 4, was sending him messages saying, "You have my laptop, I want it back. Meet me at the same place where where you got it, the same coffee shop." And Matthias is kind of like, "Okay, yeah, I'll give it back and everything." But before that, he gets another call from Amaya. And Amaya's not there. It's just this glitchy screen and everything. And we were talking about it when we were in the theater. Like, the glitchiness of the image is just kind of unrealistic.
Yeah, like it was like a video chat, but it's hard to explain.
It's
like,
a video chat, and then like anything around the person's face was glitching out.
Yeah, it was like clipping around, and it looked like you had bad connection or something. But it just looked unrealistic.
I mean, at the same time, it could have been kind of like a masking add-on that was like masking his face and everything. Like that's kind of possible. Like with apps like Clownfish or something like that. If any of you know that, like you can make it so, or Face Rig is the popular one now, where it changes your webcam to look like someone else or some creature. That's possible, but then the issue was it wasn't on this person's computer. It was on a completely different person's computer. It was on Amaya's, which she wouldn't have done that. So it wasn't necessarily realistic, but like that was really my only issue as far as realism, I thought.
Well, there was also the thing where he would message her from Amaya's computer on Facebook, and the messages he would send in Facebook Messenger, like they look different than like the normal ones. Like instead of being like a white bubble with text inside, it'd be a black bubble with big white bold text. And then after he said whatever he needed to say, it would just all like erase itself, which, I don't think there's any way it could really do that.
I mean, it might be possible and we might be completely wrong, but that was just kind of odd. But anyway, so it carries on, and basically Amaya's in the bathroom. I think that she's like taking a shower or something like that. And so during that time, Charon's out in the room saying, "You need to lead Amaya to your house. I'm going to follow her. If you tell anyone about this, then she's going to die. When I get there, you're going to give me back my laptop and you get her in exchange."
Did you tell them about how he kidnapped Kelly?
Kelly?
Her friend that was in the house with her.
Oh, actually, well, I mean, I didn't tell her, but you can. But
so what happened was, when her friend Kelly got home, she got on the chat with Matthias and was like talking to him, and then all of a sudden
I think it like went black, like
right,
the lights went out.
Yeah, and then you saw the Charon guy pop up behind her. It was like a jump scare kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Matthias like tried to warn her or whatever, but he just like put this choke thing around her, which I'm pretty sure that's what the like title art is of.
I don't know. I don't think that I can pull up a picture right now, but
that's what he did basically, and he knocked her out, and he dragged her into the other bathroom that Amaya wasn't in, and put her in there.
Yeah.
And then that's when Amaya came out.
Well, did he put Kelly in the room there, or did he just go in?
He knocked her out and he put her in the room.
I thought
and then he came out alone without her, and Matthias thought he killed her, but he said that he just...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, so basically then from there, Matthias has to lead Amaya out of the building, and the entire time he's still in a Skype call and everything, but like kind of just everyone knows that he's talking to Amaya and just not to pay attention to him basically because he's muted and everything. But that was one thing though. Occasionally, like the facial expressions and stuff, like someone would have known that there's something wrong.
Right.
If they saw those faces.
Then he got back in the chat and he was freaking out and he told everyone about what was happening.
And no, he didn't tell them about what was happening yet because he was told if he told anyone, then he'd die.
Right, but he was like searching through the files and stuff on the computer.
Yeah, that was when he there were files left. Well, no. First off, he talked to Damon about, or was it Damon?
Yeah,
Damon.
He talked to Damon about how to like access, because when he got the computer, like it looked like it was empty. It looked like there weren't any files on it, but the hard drive was like almost full. It had like almost a terabyte worth of stuff on it. So he talked to Damon about how he could access all the hidden files, and Damon told him how to do it, and he found it, and it was all these videos of like of just random surveillance cameras and stuff that were obviously hacked, and then also a bunch of videos of, you know, the kidnapped girls and stuff and the things they were doing to them, and that's when everyone else found out, because he was like sharing his screen on Skype and everyone else could see what he was doing, and then that's when he discovers the chat room, right? The River, I think it was called.
Yeah, everyone's telling him to go back and check out this thing called the River that's in the main file, and so he opens it up and it just pops up as a desktop screen, and so when that pops up, everyone's like, "What's going on?" And suddenly a dialogue box pops up with a bunch of other Charons, and so they have like a ton of them. I think that Charon 4 is the only one that's a Roman numeral. I think all the others are just regular numbers, which I don't know if there was any meaning in that or anything.
No, a bunch of other ones were Roman numerals too, because I remember seeing that.
I know at least
there's some numbers in some Roman numerals.
Yeah, but around this time also, Matthias sees a message about on Nora's Facebook account, sees a message about a payment going through, and mentioning what was the phrase, trephination, which is basically like drilling a hole in the skull, which is strange. That's strange to get a Facebook message about.
Yeah.
But then when he goes into the river, he sees the same Charon 68 talking about the same thing. And so around this time, he starts getting messages again from Amaya that are the same weird messages that are obviously from Nora, saying all of them know that you have my computer and that I don't have it anymore, don't they? And so he's panicking about that. Ends up calling. Nora calls Matthias through Amaya's Facebook, and so he's on his phone video chatting, and finally says, "Okay, type in the password," because they're asking for it to hide the fact that the computer's been stolen.
And at this point, it's kind of an interesting, I don't know what it's called, an interesting cinematic tool that they're using. It's the villain, or the main villain that's been sort of the main antagonist the whole time.
The villain
and
has to
and
side
the protagonist, kind of working together, because if they don't, then all of them are gonna die. So you see them kind of like working together. The Charon guys telling Matthias what to type in the chat and everything, so that they won't be suspicious anymore.
Yeah, and it's.
But what you find out
it makes the
later,
final twist very surprising.
Now I know the twist you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, it makes that final twist at the end all the more surprising. But yeah, so basically from there it goes into they continue doing that, and then let's see. And Nari tries to call the police, saying, trying to claim all this thing, all this. But and the thing is,
that's when Matthias gets super freaked out, because when he was on video chat with the guy, he was like, if anyone calls the police or anything, then you're all dead. So Matthias had to, make up a lie and tell everyone that it was just a prank he was pulling on everyone.
Yeah, it's a game that he's making.
Yeah, and it's just like a game that he's been working on and stuff.
What would you do?
Which makes everyone angry.
TV gold.
Which makes everyone angry and stuff, of course. But they're eventually, okay with it and stuff.
Yeah. Especially Dana's yeah, this makes sense.
But now Matthias is forced to try to act like everyth's okay and that it was just a game when it really actually wasn't, just so no one would call the cops or anything.
And at this point, Matthias goes through a few more of the files, and there's a login link in one of them where basically it leads him to be able to access Nora's... is Charon 4, I guess. We'll just refer to him as Charon 4 so that it's easier for me to find it on this page so that I can refresh my memory and everything. But yeah, he finds Charon 4's cryptocurrency account. I don't know what it was called.
It was Bitcoin.
Well, no, I think it was it was Bitcoin overall. Well, yeah. Okay, so he has a Bitcoin.
He gets the login to his Bitcoin wallet, and then Matthias makes he makes his own account for a wallet real quick. And he transfers $10 million.
Yeah, which is the amount that was sent to him by Charon 68 for this situation.
Which $10 million is a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, it is.
To see one girl get a hole drilled in her head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, these are some rich people.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so from there, also it might have been part of the whole thing as well. We'll go into that later. The question of, was it part of that?
Oh yeah. Probably was.
Yeah. Was the money even real and
right? Yeah, all? Exactly.
But yeah, so basically he transfers the money, and then he gets another call from Charon 4 why did you do that? You're going to mess everything up now. They're not only going to kill you, they're going to kill me, they're going to kill Amaya, and they're going to kill everyone in your Skype call right now. And so he basically gets told again exactly what to say in the chat box and everything, where he has to say basically that he's transferring to some other currency or something because he got a tip about it being a better exchange rate. But yeah, from there it basically is just them trying to make the other Charons believe them. And so when they finally think, okay, yeah, we're safe, and the other Charons don't know, that's when
they raid the Skype call.
Yeah, that Charon 4 leaves the Facebook chat, and so the actual Skype call is attacked by tons of these Charon people. They join in. They're like, it's not your laptop or whatever.
Yeah, it's all these people from this red room. They join in the Skype call, and isn't that when they show where what's her face gets killed?
Who?
The music girl.
Yeah, at that point, Lex moves away from her computer. I think that she was on the phone with someone.
Yeah,
and so she walked away.
She had gotten on the phone, which was obviously a call from one of these Charon people just to lure her away. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they raid the Skype call and they show live feed of her being pushed off of the top of a building and down to her death. I think it's right here. See.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what happens then, and so the video is like screen shared and everything. Which one issue with that I just realized, because it was screen sharing, there's no sound on screen sharing, but we heard sound. So like there are slight little issues like that. That's nothing big, but like it's just kind of there. But anyway, yeah, and then from there they go on to into a YouTube channel that AJ has. And they start just showing random clips, and AJ's like, I'm off the grid, you can't find me and all that. Like, go ahead and try.
They're showing all these different clips, which look like random at first, but then at the end...
This is my favorite scene in the movie. Like, I absolutely love this.
The audio clips that they showed him, like the video clips that they showed him, they take the audio from all those and splice them together, and it sounds like... And then they call 911.
And it sounds like he's going to the mall with a gun.
To shoot it up. Like, they spliced them together to form like a threat message that he was going to go to the mall and shoot it up.
Yeah. And like, it was a really genius recreation of swatting.
And then the 911 operator asked for his name, and obviously they put in an audio recording of his name, and then they hang up.
And so that call, they show afterwards that it was sent 10 minutes earlier. And so when it shows the fact that it was sent 10 minutes earlier, it moves on to immediately after that, you hear someone knocking on the door. And this is what I was talking about, where like sounds off screen are just so effective, because you hear police, open the door. And they're knocking on the door.
It reminded me of that one, like that one Instagram meme that's like, FBI, open up, and then you see like all the FBI people like jumping in from the roof and like grappling down the wall and smashing pots and stuff.
Yeah, but like it's wait, what? All right. Anyway, so but yeah, it basically goes on to they're coming into the house. They knock down the door because no one answers. AJ, you see him in the background going towards the stairway upstairs, and he's got his hands up and everything. And like the best moment, I think, throughout the entire thing, you just see as one of the Charons pops up this sound.
Wait. Let me explain this first. He had earlier in the movie, he was like showing off his new speakers he had just gotten to like everyone in the group. And
I didn't notice that, actually.
Yeah, and apparently they're like super loud and everything. So that's how the hackers knew about it, and they obviously were able to hack into the speakers, and they played this sound of a shotgun being cocked in the speaker. And that made the police think that he had a gun, because they yelled, he has a gun, and they started shooting at him, and they killed him.
And then after that, the Charon guy types in a ban command to kick out AJ from the call. And so that's the last thing that you see of that, the cops swarming down. Did they swarm down, or was it just like...
I mean, they didn't swarm, but they were coming down the stairs.
They were coming down, yeah. But yeah, like that scene, like the way that it was presented and everything, and you're hearing all these people on the outside saying, AJ, no, stop, and everything, and it's just this incredible moment of that, where you're just dramatic irony being played out on in 2 or 3 different parts of the screen at the same time, and it's just genius. And that was one thing that I really liked about this movie. You said that you had seen the original one, but you just didn't remember it, or you?
No, I never saw the original.
Okay, the original one, I thought it was good, but like the kills were like nothing necessarily special. Like most of it was off screen. This one went a lot more for
all of them were on screen.
Yeah, and actually showing someone do it. In most cases, where it's still got that mystery to it, but it's like an actual kill. Meanwhile, I think it was like, and there was one kill in the first one that I had forgotten about until I watched a video the other day. But like, it's basically this guy, and the lights start flashing on and off, and you're just watching as like he reaches into a blender on his own, and then like,
I'm pretty sure I saw that in the preview for the first one.
Yeah, it was.
I remember when the first one came out.
Yeah, it was just like so. It just didn't make sense. And the first one went more for possession, I felt like, while this one went more for this is actually happening. Well, I mean, either one, like, depending on... Yeah, anyway. But yeah, with this one, it was like real people, is what I'm saying. But yeah, so it was very much like that. And that change that, like, really made me love this movie. Or not love, but, like, it's really good, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, let's see. So from there, they have... Alright. So Nari leaves secretly. Nari's one of the two girls who are on the same
she's
call.
One of the lesbians.
Yeah.
That the two kind of stand up and go off camera for a second.
And so one of them leaves, and you don't see her, and it turns out she left.
It was supposed to be she was just in the bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
But it turns out she left to go
because at this
to
point,
the police station.
We forgotten. No, it wasn't the police station. It was
to go save Amaya or something.
Because one thing that we forgot to mention, Amaya was on her way. We mentioned that Amaya was on her way to get to Matthias' house. But she was on a train, a subway, yeah. And so on the same subway was Charon 4, and so she was trying to get there before the train stopped, and so she was going to be able to save Amaya that way, she thought. But so at this point, she's gone, and another Charon joins into the call. Was like talking specifically to, what is the other girl's name? Serena. And so
it's just the hacker and Serena. Everyone else is kicked from the call.
And so it's shown Sharon starts showing this message, or like this video from earlier on that's hacked into their camera, basically showing the fact that Serena and Nora were talking about how they were going to talk to Serena's parents. And so basically Serena said something, or yeah, it was Serena who's, or was it the other way?
No, they were talking about Serena's parents.
And Nora's parents. Serena was the one who said you have to choose.
But Serena's mom had some sort of terminal disease. Yeah. And she was like really, really sick in the hospital, and Nari was like trying to comfort her and stuff. And Serena was talking to Nari about their relationship and about how Nari's parents didn't accept, that they were lesbian together and stuff. So they were both trying to kind of comfort each other, and that's the clip that he showed. And then,
but at the end of it, she says Serena says something about, I don't want you to have to choose.
Yeah.
And so Sharon starts like repeating that message, saying, I don't want you to have to choose over and over.
Choose meaning between Nari
and Nora.
No, it was Nari. Between Nari and her parents.
I don't know. I'm trying to correct you. No, it's Nari. Okay. You're right. But yeah, so basically then it pops up with another video where it shows Nari at the station, and then it shows one of Serena's mom. And so it basically says, okay, Serena, you have to choose. Choose now. And then it starts counting down in chat from, I 30. Think, it started at 30, and it starts counting down, and it's 30 seconds of just nonstop
counting, and Serena was just like freaking out the whole time, and she didn't know what to do, and the countdown timer got lower and lower and lower, and she was just so stressed out she couldn't choose between one, and then finally the countdown got to 0.
And she said, "I'm not going to choose."
Yeah, and she kind of got relief for a second because it looked like nothing was going to happen. But then it showed the clip of the surveillance cam in her mom's hospital room, and someone had unplugged the life support machine, and you saw her heartbeat flatline. And then, you know, obviously she was really upset about that. And then
it cuts to Nari.
And then she thought that was it. And then it cut to Nari, like at the train station, waiting for the train to come. And you see the train coming out of the tunnel, and like right before it comes to Nari, someone comes up from behind her and pushes her onto the tracks, and she dies as well. So she didn't choose, so both of them died.
Yeah, and then from there, I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember how it was that Serena died. It was just like, it was literally just someone pops up behind her and she is killed. Yeah. So then it just leaves Matthias and Damon just completely in the dark, and they have no idea what happened. And so at that point, it's just the two of them, and they start saying, "Okay, we need to stop this somehow." And so Damon starts like downloading files from Nora C's computer.
He downloads like the log of like where the computer's been and stuff, and from that he can tell, you know, where they're keeping all these girls that they kidnapped, and he was threatening to turn it into the police.
Yeah. And
he was like, you know, I got you guys. I've got all of your information printed out on a piece of paper, so like there's no way you can stop me now. And another thing about Damon was he lived in London.
So he thought that he was safe.
He thought he was safe because all the Charon stuff, you know, all the hacking stuff was going on in America.
So at this point, Matthias gets a call from Amaya, and Amaya's like in a location that she doesn't know, and so she's like, "Okay, we're at, what's going on?" And so Matthias is like, "Okay, I'm going to come find you."
Is that before Damon dies?
Yeah, because remember he has the whole situation where it's like framing him.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So basically what happens then is Matthias leaves, and so he still stays signed into Skype and everything. Like, he just leaves the laptop there. And so Damon just looks into the camera and he's like, you're there, aren't you? And it pops up with, I think that's around the point where it pops up with the thing like remote desktop activated. And so one of the Charons is on his laptop and on the laptop and everything. And Damon just says, "You're there, aren't you? This entire time I've been recording. I've seen everything that happened, and there's no way that you can get away with this." And so at that point, he shows like he's got the records and everything. And so I can't remember exactly how the death happens. Like, does he?
No.
Does the guy? Remember. And does he say something about you knew the entire time that we were going to do this, didn't you? Or
right? Yeah. He calls out the Charons on knowing the entire time that it was going to play out how it did,
and how he comes to this realization.
The
like, out of nowhere.
whole thing was just a setup. You know, the laptop wasn't lost. They planted it in the lost and found, and expected someone to find it. And because, you know, this whole thing, it was all just a big game. Mm-hmm. And they planted the laptop. they planted the money, the Bitcoin, which probably, you know, wasn't even real money. They knew that he was going to like transfer it into his account and hold it for ransom. They knew that that they were going to like try to call the police and stuff. They knew the whole time that the laptop wasn't stolen or anything. Like, it was just all a big giant setup. And Damon calls him out on it. And then that's when Damon dies, right?
Well, after that, he's like pulled back, and so basically the entire time, what they wanted to do was set it up so that it looked like it was them.
Right.
So like they pulled him back behind like a door that's in the background, and on the screen you can just see the screen sharing thing, and it's typing out like,
right. Well,
me and my friends did a bad thing.
Well, first they hung Damon from like his door and made it look like he committed suicide, and then they left a suicide note on his computer saying, "My friends and I did a bad thing," and it was basically framing them for the whole death of Erica Dunn and everything, and
everyone else,
right? Like it was just framing them so that they would just think that, okay, all of them did it and all of them are dead, so it's okay. But in reality, it was actually all the hackers and stuff. But the whole thing was just a big setup.
And it was, now that I think about it, it really is kind of a Saw-like setup. Like it was when
I've
you
never
said,
seen Saw. So
okay, well, basically it's all about like the idea of it being a game. And so when you said game, and there's always a twist of it.
Yeah, it goes back to Matthias, and Matthias asked them, why are you doing all this? And earlier, when Matthias had first, lied to all of his friends and told them it was just a game, and they asked him why he did it, he was like, well, it's game night, right? And Matthias asked, the hackers why they were doing all this, and they just pulled up this clip of him saying, it's game night, right? And they just like repeated it a whole bunch of times. And then, it was just Matthias left on his bike sitting in the middle of the road, because at this point Amaya was dead.
Well, no, really actually this. Now that I think about it, no, Amaya died, like it was, it pops up on Matthias's screen saying do you want should Matthias live or die? And because this happens first, because then there's the countdown, and during that time it shows.
Yeah, so a pop-up comes up on the stream or whatever, because at this point, everyone knows that it's all just a big red room thing on the dark web that thousands of people are watching, and it says, should Matthias live or die? And it's like a live poll, and people start voting. It's like a 1 minute countdown.
I think it's like 120 seconds, I think, is where it starts, because it needs that time to show that final video to Matthias.
And people start voting to whether he should live or die.
And he can't see how it's going to turn out. He just sees that pop up. Right. And from there it goes on to showing this video, and it's of Amaya walking into the same factory that's shown in one of the clips at the very beginning. That's on Charon 4's computer, and so she walks into that same factory and everything, and then you see Charon run from behind her and kill her. No, it doesn't kill her. Based like what I'm saying
right.
here,
Well,
it's not killing her; it's leaving her to be tortured for another game.
Yeah, that's true.
And so after that, Matthias is asking the circle why they did all this. And this is one thing that I forgot, but it's like really smart. It starts repeating the same clip of him saying, after all, it's game night. Yeah. And then it starts fading out into the, then the poll ends. And it's, or I think I completely messed up the order, actually, because,
I don't know, but
because there's also Erica's part, where she's like, help me and everything on the video call. So that's what happens during that last moment. Amaya's like right before he asks, why did you do all this? And then okay, sorry guys, like we got that slightly out of order, because then it goes into like Erica, and she it turns out she was like taken back to Matthias's house.
And
put in the
so to add on to the whole part that they're trying to to frame this group of friends for, kidnapping Erica Dunn, they took Erica back and they put her in Matthias's apartment, and she was unconscious when they put her there, and they left, and then she wakes up and she comes to the computer and she sees that it's recording everything, and she's just like saying help me and stuff.
And then after that cuts out, and so it's just Matthias.
So they've literally pulled off like the perfect crime at this point.
Yeah. And then it only shows Matthias, and it finally pops up with the results of the poll. And it says, I think about 30% say he should live.
No, it was like 12% he should live, and then all the rest were saying to kill him.
And then it goes completely quiet for a moment. And it shows a wide shot from a security camera
of him just sitting out in the middle of the street on his bike, which I don't know why you're doing that anyway in the first place.
In the moment, it might have been all this stuff's happening.
He was literally just in the middle of the street, and then out of nowhere, this van just comes and smashes into him and kills him, obviously. And
at that point, it starts to slowly pull out of that camera, and it's showing the rest of this... the rest of the computer screen, and it's showing that this is inside of this red room, and it's showing
the stream,
and it's a live stream, and it's saying game night at the bottom, and so it's going full circle with that concept.
So this was it started off as this group of friends as they were having game night over over Skype. But what was really happening was all these hackers were having their game night with their game night. If that that was just kind of a cool little
I think that makes sense. But it's it's really I love when movies bring everything full circle with two different concepts and combine them together, which that's really what's happening here. And it finally zooms out, and just like the first one, there's that one, the first Unfriended, there's that one moment of you actually see outside of the computer screen at the very end, and that's when they zoom out and show this massive room where they're controlling the entire live stream.
Yeah, there's 20 monitors on the wall.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different stuff of a bunch of security cameras and everything.
And then it's roll credits. After that, but yeah, it's I really like the way that they did it. But the thing that actually surprises me here, okay, so in here it's saying that there was a second ending, and that was apparently cut. Which that happens in a lot of cases. It happened for Hereditary, and I still want to see the other ending because apparently it was pretty good. But basically, it's instead of getting hit by the van, one of the Charons comes and knocks him out. And so Amaya is still alive at that point. And so she comes to the same location. Because the location that they went to was this park. Where apparently that was one of their first date locations or something like that. And so they meet up there, and so then Charon's knocked out Matthias and put him inside of this casket, put him in the ground, and starts burying him. And so Amaya gets a call when she reaches that location, and Matthias is trying to get back in contact with her, trying to tell her that he's been buried alive using the papaya software that he made. And so apparently the way that it ended the first time was just instead of it popping up with images of him signing how he needs help and everything, it changes everything over to "I wish I could sign better," and that's how it ends. And that's actually I feel that would have been kind of cool. I like the actual ending a lot more, but the idea of it ending with "I wish I could sign better," because that's kind of his character arc throughout the entire thing.
That's kind of the if he knew how to sign properly, he could
he would have avoided this entire thing.
The entire situation would have just...
Yeah.
Well, not the entire thing, but
like he wanted to take the laptop because he wanted to take the laptop.
Amaya would have lived.
He would have wanted to take... well, in this ending, Amaya does live.
Oh.
But the thing is, if he could have...
Oh, signed, he wouldn't have taken the laptop
because he was taking that laptop to like develop his software. So I didn't realize that. I'm glad that I pulled up the Wikipedia page because that's actually really cool. I like the idea of that separate ending. But yeah, I'm looking in chat now.
We have 2 people watching.
Yeah, there were a lot more earlier on. Yeah. But yeah, so thank you anyone who's watching live or anything. I really do appreciate that. And I hope to do more like this in the future. And Nate, if you want to come on for any of those in the future, I don't know what we'll do necessarily. I'm thinking, I was actually thinking earlier, like I might want to start like a routine thing talking about movies and stuff like that on Twitch. And so if you're watching on YouTube, then you're going to hear about that as well from this. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, leave a like when the video comes out. And yeah, so we will see you all whenever this goes live, I think on Wednesday. And I'll see you in whichever video I post next /live stream. Make sure to follow for more stuff. Alright, anyway, goodbye.